Okay, so we are on Mishnah Yudalid, Perkei Gimel Mishnah Yudalid. What would be Yudtes in the art school? It's Huya Omer Chavav Adam.
Yudches.
Yudches. Okay. Perkei Gimel Mishnah Yudches. Huya Omer. This is Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, the passing Mishnah is Rabbi Akiva. Would say Chavav Adam Shenivra B'Tzelem. Beloved is man who was created in the image of Hashem, B'Tzelem Elokim. Chiba Yisera Noidas Lo Yishnivra B'Tzelem. The Rabbeinu explains this means that an additional chiba was shown to people by Hashem, that He told us that we're created B'Tzelem Elokim. In other words, we were created B'Tzelem Elokim, and Hashem not tell us that. And that would be a chosher thing, just a reality. And additionally, to being created B'Tzelem Elokim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed us an extra measure of chiba by informing us that we were created B'Tzelem Elokim. Shenemar, as it says, Ki B'Tzelem Elokim Asa Es Adam. Plus it says in Bereshis that Hashem created man B'Tzelem Elokim. What does it mean B'Tzelem Elokim, by the way? What does that mean that we're created B'Tzelem Elokim, in Hashem's image? How are we created in Hashem's image? So the Nefesh HaChaim says, the Chaim Volozhiner says, that means just like Hashem controls everything, He's the master of all masters. He's the complete control over the entire world and universe and everything. So too we are in control of the world in the sense that our mitzvahs build things and our averos destroy things. When a person doesn't have, we always say, a person speeds, he gets a ticket. Nothing happened besides the fact he got a ticket. Maybe he endangered himself, but nothing happened. When a Yid breaks the Jewish law, the halacha, it's not just that he didn't obey and he gets punished. There's been a kilkel to the oilam. There are things that are going on. There are worlds around us we're not aware of. And when a person does a mitzvah, he's building worlds. When a person does an avera, he's destroying worlds. And everything in this world is here to facilitate the Jew's ability to perform mitzvahs or do averas. So that Tzelem Elokim means, just like Hashem controls, so we also control. That's what it means, Tzelem Elokim. So that's the first part of the Mishnah. Chavivin Yisrael Shenikru Banim L'makom. We're also beloved to Hashem, that the Jew is called a child, a ben, a bechor, to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And again, Chiba Yisera Noidas Lahem, an additional measure of Chiba was given to us, that we were told that we were Shenikru Banim L'makom, that we're children of Hashem. Not just that that's the reality, but that we were informed of such. Shenemar, it says, Banim Atam L'Hashem L'Keichem. You are Banim, you are children to Hashem, your God. Third point, Chavivin Yisrael Shenita Lahem Klei Chemda. We are beloved to Hashem. How do we see that? In that He gave us His Klei Chemda, His coveted instruments. Chibi Yisrael Nedas Lahem Shenita Lahem Klei Chemda. Shebay Nivra Olam. The additional measure of Chib was given to us that Hashem told us that He gave us His Klei Chemda, with which He created the world. Like it says, Shemar Ki Lekach Toiv Nasati Lachem Toirasi Al Tazoyu. I gave you a Lekach Toiv. Don't leave my Torah. So the Rabbeinu explains that this should engender within us a tremendous cheshik to come close to Hashem. When we realize that Hashem created us in His image, we're like Hashem. When we realize the Jewish people are banim to Hashem, and then He gave us His instruments. He gives the example of like the jackhammer and the regular hammer and the drill that the builder needs. Hashem gave us the tools with which we created the world for us to learn and masakin ourselves. That in of itself should be a tremendous motivation for us to want to come close to Him. That He loves us so much, He comes so close to us, we should want to respond by coming close to Him. So it's really a chizuk shmuz, this Mishnah, to bring us to that desire to come close to Hashem, to bring us to Dveikus. That's Mishnah Yudal. Next Mishnah Tes Vav. Hakol Tzafui v'harishus nesuna. This Mishnah is a bit hard to understand. Hakol Tzafui, everything is perceived, everything is known, everything is seen. V'harishus nesuna, but the ability is given. Rishus nesuna, ability is given. Uvetoiv ha'olam nida, in the world is judged with good. V'hakol lefi roiv ha'maisa, and everything is judged by the majority of action. So you find certain Mishnayos in Perkei Avos are easy to understand; they pretty much flow. Other Mishnayos are quite closed. This is an example of a Mishnah that's quite close. What does that mean? So the Rabbeinu Yona says, "Hakol safu." He quotes a pasuk in Tehillim, "Hashem chikartani v'teida ata yodata shifti v'kumi." You know when I sit down, when I stand up, bin sularei mirachak. You see everything that I have from afar. So Hashem is aware of everything that is going to happen. Every single detail, what you're going to do as soon as this year is over. where you're going to go today, tomorrow, the rest of your life. Hashem knows everything. Hakol tzafur. Everything is seen by Hashem. At the same time, says the Mishnah, Harishus Nasuna. Zakt Rabbeinu Yona, Shenosan Rishus Biyad Bnei Adam, La'asos Kol Sheyechboitz Liboy. A person has the ability to do whatever he wants. Someone told me that last Siyam Hashas, Rav Leibelam said, it's very appropriate that it's at MetLife Stadium. Why? Because Met from Mace, and life is life. So you're putting in front of you Misa and Chayiv. You have in front of you the two choices. Misa. That's what Rabbeinu says over here. A person has free choice. Im Toiv v'Im Ra. Im Toiv v'Im Ra. You can do good, you can do bad. We have free choice. B'chira Chavsh. Like it says, Reina Sabtif Neichem, Chayiv v'Toiv Mavas V'Arot. And Chazal tell us it's one of the plotting, one of the unbelievable things. Sha'afal Pisha Rosh Hashanah, even though we have free choice, HaKadosh Baruch Hu still knows what we're going to do, without forcing us to do it. So this is one of the questions the Rambam raises. I think it's in Hilchos Deis or Yesodei HaTorah. I think in Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah, the Rambam raises this. Maybe it's in Hilchos Tshuva, somewhere in Hamada. The Rambam raises this question: how can it be that we have free will? The Kadosh Baruch Hu knows what we're going to do, and the Rabbi has a time in the Rambam. Why bring up a question there's no good answer to? This is a big issue that many philosophers have grappled with. What we have to understand is that it's Dvarim Pshutim. It's obvious that we have free choice. How it shtins, how it works with Hashem's understanding that He knows what we're going to do, I don't know. All I know is that if there's no free choice, then there's no point to the whole religion. The whole point of the religion is the challenge to go through life and do mitzvahs, not do averos. If we're pre-programmed, there must have been Hilchos Tshuva. If we're pre-programmed, so then we can't. There's no point.
There's no point to the world.
There's no point to the world. So it's obvious that we have free choice, even though we can't understand it. There's a lot of things we can't understand. Hashem exists outside of time and space. Can you understand that? We have no concept of existence without time and space. What does that mean to exist without time and space, right? But we know Hashem is above time and space. So there are plenty of things we don't understand. So what do we do? And this Mishnah is telling us, I guess, what do you do when you get to a thing something you don't understand? You say, I don't understand. I know the Torah is emes, and I go with with what the Torah says. I know this Bechir Chavshis. Yesterday at the Shabbos meal, someone asked, talking about animal cruelty. Animal cruelty. The person said, Shechita in his perception is cruel, and and he knows the Torah says you can do it, and it's a mitzvah. And I told him, you're going to have to eat meat. It's a mitzvah. Pesach, you have to eat. Shalmi Chagiga, Shalmi Simcha, a lot of components you're going to have to eat. You're going to have to eat meat. You can't be a vegetarian when the Beis Hamikdash is built. So he said, yeah, but it bothers him. He grapples with what do you do when what your morals tell you doesn't fit with the Torah? So I told him, what I'm bothered by more is when it comes to Gerish, when it comes to divorce. So you have an issue here, we have a man and a woman, and they're getting into a fight. They don't want to be married together anymore. And the Torah gives all the koyach to one person. So the man gets all the koyach. He can give her a get if he wants. If he doesn't want, he doesn't have to. He can get remarried without getting her a get. She can't get remarried. It's mamish not fair. In our Havana, our understanding, it's not fair. How do you, so there's three reactions you can have to that. One reaction is to say that, okay, whatever the halacha says, I don't have respect for the halacha. I'm going to go with my moral compass, my personal moral compass, and I'm going to either totally disregard the halacha or do things that no one's ever done before with the halacha and try to be mati the aguna. Other option is to say, I don't care about my moral compass. I'm just going to follow what the halacha says, and if she's in pain, it doesn't bother me. A person says, I have the halacha that I have to stick to. I can't do things no one's done before with the halacha. I have to stick with the halacha. But l'maisa, it does bother me if a person's in pain. I'm going to do whatever I can within the confines of halacha to make it work. The same thing with shechita. It could be that the person might feel that maybe it's not right. Who says you can eat animals? The Torah says you can do it. So within the confines of halacha, I'm going to use my morality. The person says, I feel that the way they treat the animals before the shechita is not nice. Okay, that's fine. The person says, I'm not comfortable with killing a life, for no reason. I'll hold off on my taivas achila, I won't. That's fine. But when the Beis Hamikdash is rebuilt, you have to eat the korban pesach. You have to eat the shalmi chagiga. So a balanced person is able to shtim both. The same thing over here. How does it work? Hashem knows everything, but we have bechira chavshis. Okay, I don't know, but I still have to operate within the confines of the halacha, and I have my kasha on the side. That's the one that's the deal. That's the shvil hazov. That's not the radical way. It's the normal way of dealing with these things is to have sensitivity to halacha as well as to one's own sensitivities, but realize at the end of the day, the justice is with the halacha. The Mishnah continues, Uvetoiv ha'olam nidoin, the world is, Hashem judges the world, not only according to his maisim, ach betuva v'midas hachesed. This is something that a secular judge can't do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu judges the world. Hashem understands how hard it is for us to withhold ourselves from an aveira or to do a mitzvah. So the judgment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with us doesn't just take into account the mitzvah we did, or the aveira that we did, is how hard was it. So one of my Rabbeinu once gave a mashal, once gave a mashal of a bachar in yeshiva. And his friends tell him, Yankel, we're going rappelling up north. That's like a big zach. Now it's in yeshiva, we go rappelling up north. And we're going to leave Motzei Shabbos, must be in the winter, so you get out early. We're going to do a night rappelling, we're going to sleep in tents. We'll be back for Shachar Sunday morning. Now if they do that, right, you know what the Shachos will look like, what the first day is going to look like, and what the whole day is going to look like in the whole week. And but his whole chevra is going. He's a good bachar, he wants to learn. But all the guys are going, they're all pressured to go. And he succumbs, he goes, he has a great time. He comes back, mamish, they get back to the dorm room, 10 minutes for Shacharis. They go to Shacharis, falling asleep. Then they go, they can't learn. He misses Sunday. He misses first Seder on Sunday, the morning learning. And then he doesn't understand the Shiur, the lecture, he doesn't understand. And then even though Monday he's back on his feet, but he's already behind, and the whole week down the drain. He mamish missed the entire week. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is the bachar sits down Sunday morning. He didn't go on the rappelling trip. Sits down Sunday morning at 8:59. The Seder starts 9 o'clock. The clock strikes 9. And he sees a guy a few benches down, a friend of his, he was away for Shabbos. He says, "Nu Shmerel, how was Shabbos?" They have a 5-minute exchange from 9 to 9:05. They go back learning. And it's a great first Seder of 2 hours and 55 minutes. A great first Seder, a great Shiur. This bachar mamish the whole week. Good kashas he asked on the Shiur. He had a great week of learning. Says Rabbi, who's going to get a bigger punishment? Now we don't know how Hashem judges things, but who's going to get a bigger punishment? The bachar who did a 15-hour rappelling trip and ruined his entire week of davening and learning, or the bachar who had a 5-minute shmooze that was really unrecognizable 10 minutes later and had a great week. He said, for the bachar who went on the rappelling trip, it was a big Yetzer Hara. His whole chevra was going. It was much harder for him to hold himself back. So he did the wrong thing. He'll be held accountable, but it could be he'll get less of a punishment. And the bachar who sits down to Seder a few minutes early. What's the big Yetzer Hara to tell your friend how his Shabbos was? You can ask him after Seder. Beina start in between. You don't have to ask him in the beginning of Seder. So there was much less of a Yetzer Hara potentially to ask him how his Shabbos was. He might get punished more for those 5 minutes, and the bachar ruined his entire week. Because that's shot in this Mishnah. The oilim is nidoin. The world is judged on Hashem's goodness, which means Hashem looks into what's going on inside us. A judge can't do that necessarily. If someone killed someone, someone stole, they have to be punished. But when it comes to Kadosh Baruch Hu's judgment, Hashem looks at where we're holding, how hard was it, and how easy was it, and then He judges based on that. That's v'toiv ha'olam nidoin. This is a concept that the first paragraph of Talmud Devorah is based on, that Rabbeinu explains means that the way I act with other people, that's how Kadosh Baruch Hu acts with me. So if I go l'fnim meshuras hadin with others, if my actions are those of chesed, and he ba'av of me, he does something wrong to me, but I don't respond, I just push it under the carpet, it's fine, not a big deal, then when I do things wrong in Aveiros, Hashem does the same thing. The way I interact with people, that's how Kadosh Baruch Hu interacts with me. So if I expect everyone to act properly, and if someone steps out of line, I censure them. So if I step out of line, Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't censure me. But if I go l'fnim meshuras hadin, I do chesed to people, even though they do things wrong to me, I'm not makbid on myself, on my covet, then Kadosh Baruch Hu is also not makbid with me. So there's no vatranis in din, meaning whatever we do, Hashem is going to punish us for, reward us for. That's for sure. But as far as how Hashem does it, the way we act to others, the nisonis that we have, that very much cheshbons into the din from a Kadosh Baruch Hu.